All right, it's time. Let's get started. We have 15 minutes for this webinar. Welcome to the part two of a three-part webinar series on clearing the digital blur. And today's focus will be on a talent transformation framework for the digital world. So those of you who are joining us for this particular session, welcome. The others, I'm just going to give you a quick preview of what we have done in the last webinar, and then we will move on to the topic on hand for today. So that's me, Rajiv Jayaraman, founder CEO of KNOLSKAPE. Quick recap of webinar one. We said digital is business and business is digital. Digital is disrupting many industries and companies, and speed is a new currency of business. There is an imperative for digital transformation. Digitization is putting pressure on revenue and profit growth, and this is happening across industries and across different functions. And that leaves us with this important topic of the birth of the digital blur, disruptions caused by technologies, the networked customer, digital disruptors armed with data and pestle changes. This is giving rise to a new paradigm where things are blurring away. What exactly is blurring away? Organizational boundaries. Lawless innovation is erasing the boundaries between what is regulated and what is not. Ubiquitous digitalization and robotic automation. So these are the fundamental tenets of the digital blur. And we understood the three new rules for the digital age. Experience and efficiency are both important. Fast fish eats a slow fish, which is all about agility, and Moore's law in business models, which is all about how every 18 months the company has to reinvent its business model in a fundamental way, which gave rise to this core set of tenets for clearing the digital blur, which revolves around digital customer experience, agility and data-driven decision making, and business value proposition. Now, what is the missing link? Last time we identified that the missing link is talent readiness. How will people go from here to a digital native state? So that's the key question at hand. And in today's session, we will focus on a framework that helps us get our talent ready for the digital future. So here we go. So for filling the missing link, for achieving digital mastery through talent readiness, we need to look at this simple formula. Digital strategy plus digital capabilities plus digital culture leads to digital mastery. Just capabilities doesn't cut it, just digital culture doesn't cut it, digital strategy doesn't cut it. We need to have all the three of these building blocks in place and to be executing at its peak performance for us to be able to achieve digital mastery. Now let's peel the onion and see what's in the levels below. Digital strategy is all about embracing the and strategy. I will talk about that in more detail in subsequent slides. Digital capabilities is all about creating exceptional customer and employee experience through design thinking, agility, and analytics. And digital culture is enabled by leadership and organizational culture. And this is how we will reach digital mastery, which leads to greater innovation, reduced costs, and sustainable growth. Now let's focus on digital strategy. What exactly do we mean by embracing the and strategy? Now you know that I'm an avid quizzer. I'm going to ask you a lot of questions. Now what is C&D? P&G CEO Jeff Lafley named the R&D function as C&D. He renamed the function as C&D. What does C&D stand for? You can leave a note on the chat window. What does C&D stand for? Okay, I'll just give you a couple of seconds more. All right, Jitendra is saying content and design, not the right answer, unfortunately, Jitendra. Sorry about that. Anyone else who wants to take a stab at it? No? Connect and Nupur, you got it right. Shobita, not capabilities and development. Nupur, you're absolutely right. It is connect and develop. Mohan, you're right as well. The company that we are talking about here is P&G. Jeff Lafley said, 50% of the innovation comes from their C&D team and the rest comes through them, which means you need to connect with the outside world, bring innovation in. So this is a new era of internal and external. The boundaries separating internal and external, those boundaries are blurring away. Let's move on to the next one. This is a topical question. What's more expensive today? Is it gold or bitcoins? What is your sense? Okay, Meenakshi is saying bitcoins. Rahul is saying bitcoins. Okay, this is a session on digital, so it's a dead giveaway. The answer is indeed Bitcoin. So if you look at the steep increase in the price of Bitcoins, you see that in the last couple of years, it has skyrocketed. And this has actually triggered a lot of innovation from traditional banking organizations. You see Citi coming into the fray, Barclays coming into the fray, UBS coming into the fray. So what is still not completely unregulated, traditional companies are getting into that zone. They are getting into what is called as the zone of lawless innovation. So this is the era of lawful and lawless innovation happening at the same time. What's going on here? With the Champions Trophy happening here in India and French Open, this is a topical question. What's going on here? Absolutely, Arunabha, you got it absolutely right. So this is, believe it or not, Intel Inside. For they say that the game of the sport of tennis was invented sometime in the 13th century. For the last so many years, the rules have not changed much. But very recently, there was a new rule that was added, and that rule was about making the tennis racket digital by adding a sensor. Now we have heard of IoT, Internet of Things. We are seeing it in action in sports. Those of you who are following cricket, you know the new cricket bat design. At the top of the bat, you have a sensor. With this, batsmen can have a lot of access to data and analytics. With that, hopefully, they can improve their performance. If this can be done in sports, it can be done in organizational context as well, and performance can be improved by using such technologies. So this is the era of physical and digital interplaying. What's going on here? Can you identify the person on the screen? The one with the hand on his head? Okay, Gary Kasparov, absolutely right. What's going on here though? No, it's not a virtual game. Yes, Surbi, you're on the right track. This is in fact about machine learning. So those of you who have followed IBM's Deep Blue computer in 1997, it actually beat the world champion of chess at that time, Gary Kasparov, made a lot of news, and after that it went silent, right? So what Gary Kasparov did is he said, I need to have the same advantage that the system has got, and so he, attached himself to a cyborg, and this combination of the human being and the cyborg was actually the winner at the freestyle chess in 2014. So this is an era of not just man, not just machine, but we are entering the era of human and cyborg combination. So that's the point I want to make with respect to digital strategy. So this is all about an and strategy, internal and external, lawful innovation and lawless innovation, physical interplaying with digital, man and machine coexisting. So organizations need to embrace the and strategy. Let's move on to the next building block. And this is all about digital capabilities. So this is all about orbit shifting customer experience and employee experience using design thinking, agility, and analytics. Let's peel the onion here. So the point of view we have here is value is actually at the intersection of customer and employee experience. Many companies talk about digital customer experience without talking about employee experience. We believe that it is not sustainable. For great customer experience, you need to enable great employee experience as well. And this has to be done in the context of an innovative business model, and that is what unlocks new value. And this process is driven by design thinking, agility, and analytics. So these are the core digital capabilities that an organization needs to build. Let's move on to the last building block, which is digital culture. So just strategy and capabilities wouldn't cut it. We need to enable it through leadership and culture. So what does that take? As we all know, digital is not about technology. It's not really just about technology. It is about mindsets. So what are these crucial mindsets? One is about being open, being collaborative, being embracing sharing as a principle, and acting global. In the industrial age, if you had something powerful and useful, you would hoard it. In the digital age, you would share it, right? That's how you develop influence in your ecosystem. So that calls for a different kind of thinking and a different kind of an enabling culture. So with those building blocks and mixing it with the three tenets we've spoken about earlier, which is digital customer experience, agility, and business value proposition, anchoring it to the fundamental building blocks, which is strategy, capabilities, and culture, we arrive at a digital transformation matrix. Now let's drill down the matrix to see what actually goes into this. If you look at digital customer experience, and apply the foundational building blocks of strategy, capabilities, and culture to enable digital customer experience, organizations have to leverage customer networks. Customers are not just the destination right now. They are not an endpoint anymore. They are right in the center of a network. And the companies trying to reach these customers need to develop a network strategy and not a linear strategy, right? That's a fundamental difference between what used to happen earlier and what is called for in the digital age. And in terms of capabilities, to be able to put the customer in the center, the organization needs to develop design thinking as a core capability. And from a cultural standpoint, service orientation becomes extremely crucial. Now, moving on to the next unit, which is agility and data-driven decision making, and you apply the fundamental foundational building blocks. For strategy, it is all about unlocking business value through data. Just by attaching a sensor to a physical object, now you have a stream of data coming at you real time. What can you do with that data? What sort of analytics can you provide? That should unlock new business possibilities. And in terms of capabilities, one needs to be agile. Organizational agility is paramount. Learning agility is paramount. And in terms of culture, sharing is important. Data that is getting locked up is no good. Organization needs to be able to share data so that it can be used at the right time in the right place. And the last one is the business model innovation. If you apply strategy lens to it, it is all about mastering disruptive business models, the business model canvas, and the whole art of creating, delivering, and capturing value. Capabilities is all about exponential thinking, and apologies for that. And the culture should enable growth mindset. So when you bring it all together, on one axis, you've got the core digital tenets, which is digital customer experience, agility, and business model innovation. And on the other axis, you've got the foundational blocks, strategy, capability, and culture. You can arrive at the core competencies that are required for a digital ready organization. So when you look at digital customer experience, you're looking at leveraging customer networks, design thinking, and service orientation. For agility and data-driven decision making, we need to unlock business value through data, be agile about it, and be data-driven in our decision making. Business model innovation is all about developing an ability to disrupt existing business models. That's the Moore's law of business models. Exponential thinking is called for, and that is enabled through the growth mindset, which is a cultural element in this whole mix. So that's pretty much the end of this particular webinar. So we, in this particular webinar, we looked at the foundational building blocks of digital transformation, which includes digital strategy, digital capabilities, digital culture, and bringing it all together, marrying it with competencies, and now you've got a recipe for clearing the digital blur. I hope this was useful for all of you. If you have any questions, please leave those questions on the chat window. I will reach out to you over email. I hope this was useful. Thank you so much.